It's time to check in with Turning Point's White House correspondent, Monica Paige. Monica, how you doing today?
Hey, Joe Bob. Rainy day here at the White House, but definitely a lot going on as usual.
Yeah, rainy and a little bit awkward. There was a video that I'm sure the other shows have all played, so we don't need to necessarily play it here. But being there at the White House, the South African president and Trump had a I don't even want to say contentious. 'Cause I don't think it was contentious. It was just a little awkward. What happened? And tell us your perspective.
Yeah, definitely the most awkward meeting in the Oval Office since Ukrainian President Zelensky was here. I mean, it wasn't as explosive as the meeting with Zelensky, but
Mm,
it certainly was a little bit tense. I mean, we understand that the two leaders, President Trump and South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, talking about trade this afternoon, but the elephant in the room was about the supposed white genocide in South Africa. I mean, President Trump playing a video for the South African president showing these African leaders calling for the genocide of the white farmer. Now, there have been dozens of white farmers in the area, in the region, who have been slaughtered or harmed or harassed and their land being stolen. And the South African president said, he hasn't heard of such thing. But the president came with receipts. He was showing articles. He was showing video of the calling for the killing of the white farmer in the area. There have been dozens already that have been seriously harmed or killed as a result. And in response, I mean, it was kind of an awkward feeling in the room, from what I understand, with the South African president saying, I denounce this. I've never heard of such a thing. I hope we can work something out where we don't have to keep dealing with this situation. And the president really voiced his displeasure because he knows people in South Africa who have been voicing their criticism of the South African president. You even had Elon Musk, South African born, in the room as well, who has been a stark critic of the president.
mm.
Of South Africa, that is. So it was a very interesting dynamic, and we'll see what happens after this meeting. The South African president's still here as of right now, around 3 p.m. Eastern time, still here at the White House. So they're still having talks regarding trade and regarding how this genocide in the region can be resolved.
Yeah, it's one of those where like the situation is horrible and you don't want to get into it in a comedic matter, but at the same time, it's also hilarious to have President Trump have the receipts in a way and say, "Hey, here's the video. You said this isn't happening, and clearly this is going on." Fascinating. I'm hearing also some capital or sorry, some congressional members are coming to the White House. The big beautiful bill. Kind of where does that stand? Does it look just kind of from your anecdotal experience there? That people are excited leaving the White House? Are they mad? Are they what's happening regarding those people coming in?
There's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to this one big
Yeah.
beautiful bill because on one hand you want to hope that everyone's going to get on board with what President Trump wants to push through. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in this bill. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security. President Trump warning members don't touch Medicaid. This has been a rumor that many of the mainstream media have been pushing, saying, "Oh, Medicaid's going to be touched. Someone they're going to take it away from us," or a lot of people concerned about the state of their Social Security. That's not the case. And also border security, ample amount of border security funds to the border as well, and for our ICE agents. But there are House caucus members that are supposedly meeting here with President Trump this afternoon that really have been trying to get this bill passed. Of course, there is a Memorial Day deadline, but sooner rather than later, President Trump really hoping to push this through. So, I mean, we'll see. That's definitely something else that we got to keep an eye on here at the White House.
Yeah, it's fascinating because I'm sure not everybody's getting everything they want, but that's how Congress works. But what's crazy is when you see the libs out there saying things that are just flat untrue. And I'm just wondering at what point they're going to feel any sort of shame just lying to the constituency rather than negotiating in good faith to try and get what they want, which again, nobody gets everything that they want.